I am Sylvia Adkins. I'm self-employed. My organization is Sylvia Adkins, PLLC, and I am a licensed professional counselor. Graduated with a Master's of Art in Christian Counseling from Gordon-Conwell in 2009. I was 64 when I entered Gordon-Conwell. My husband was diagnosed with cancer. He was 58 years old and died at 60, and that was about 11 years ago when he died. Well, I heard from the doctor before my husband did. He had been having terrible back pain, and one day I got a call after we'd been there. A couple days later, my husband was working and I was at home. It was right around Christmas time. I got the call from the doctor saying, "Your husband has cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma." And I just remember just holding the phone, not even hearing the rest of what he was saying. It was just such a terrible feeling. It was like, this is horrible. We were building our retirement home in Chapel Hill, and he was all excited about the home. We had designed it together, and a lot of each of us in it, and we were living in a house that we were renting while the house was being built, and went for his final treatment. We didn't know it would be his final, but it turned out to be his final treatment in Houston, Texas at MD Anderson Hospital. And he didn't survive the treatment. Right before we went in for that final treatment at dinner that night, we were out with all the sons and one daughter-in-law we had at that point. And at dinner, the daughter-in-law asked John, my husband's name was John, said, "John, how do you feel going in to MD Anderson tomorrow?" He was going in the next day. And he said, "Well, I know if the Lord takes me, it will be so that he can use Sylvia, because I take up all of her time." And I said, and I just looked at him, I said, "Stop it. You know, he can use me either way. I want him to use me, but I want you to stay." So, but he was really serious about that. So it's amazing. It was 2.5 years after he died that I was talking to a friend, and I was pouring all this out to her, and she said, "Sylvia, I know an excellent therapist in Chapel Hill." And I said, "I am not going to counseling. I do not want to talk to anybody else about my problems, especially somebody I don't know." And she said, "Well, okay." I hung up the phone from talking to her and just started crying. So I picked it back up and I said, "What's his number?" And as we went on through my grief and what I was going through, and he was helping me through that, he said, "You know, you have a lot of life left." And he said, "The Lord left you here for a purpose, and I would like to see you seek your passion. What is your passion?" So I went back my next appointment with him and I said, "Okay, you know, you told me to seek my passion, and I think it's the same thing you're doing. But," I said, "I will not be a PhD psychologist. I'm too old to." And I said, "And I think I'm too old to go back to school." And he said, "You're not too old to go back to school. You have life experience, and that's one of the most important things." I said, "Well, I do have that." And I said, "But where would I go? I don't want to go to a secular school." And he said, "Well, there's Gordon-Conwell in Charlotte." I said, "You're kidding." I think the word seminary to me meant pastor or missionary. And I never thought of going to a seminary for a counseling degree or to study psychology and personality. And I was so thankful to know that there was a place where you could study theology and Bible and integrate it with your counseling and your psychology studying, so that you use the integration as you're working with people that God brings to you. To me, I was pleasantly surprised at what the seminary was. Now, I had considered going to seminary at times before in my life because I couldn't get enough Bible study. I was doing Bible studies and I thought, I really want to study. I want to go to a place that really teaches the Bible and interpretation of the Bible and exegesis of Scripture and all that. So I got that at Gordon-Conwell, which I would have never thought I would, if I wanted to go into counseling, that would be a part of it. And it just happens to be a huge part of it if you're a Christian and if you want to help people in a Christian way. Gordon-Conwell, to me, changed my life. I mean, if I had to say, thank you, Gordon-Conwell, for changing my life, putting me on a path with purpose, knowing that God has called me to help His people through difficult times, through difficult situations. Gordon-Conwell had, I mean, even though I was late in life, has really changed my life and given me a wonderful purpose. I've come to know God better. Not only did I learn how to be a counselor, I learned a lot more about God.